Hello and welcome to the Film Buff channel. I'm Tom Connors and today I'm going to review Alien Covenant. The crew of a colony ship known as the Covenant is bound for a remote planet when they discover an uncharted paradise after a storm disrupts their journey. The planet appears to be habitable and over 7 years closer than their previous destination, so they take a detour and land, only to find David from the Prometheus stranded on an otherwise seemingly deserted planet. Soon after they arrive, they trigger a spore that mutates inside the host into a primitive version of the xenomorph, much like the creature at the end of Prometheus. After being attacked and stranded themselves when an accident with the alien causes the ship to explode, they desperately try to get a signal to the ship above the planet through the storm, as David seems to have plans for the small group that leads to a very familiar looking version of the xenomorph. The film takes place 10 years after the events of Prometheus and does require you to see it. So the real question is, does Covenant live up to the classic films, and is it better than Prometheus? The answer is kinda to both. Ridley Scott does do his best to crossbreed the two, much like the alien creature in his film. The movie is very slow-paced and much more horror like the first Alien film, and doesn't really have much of a story either like the original Alien film. And unfortunately, a little bit more story is needed here. The character development is very thin, and we don't get to know any of them really well. The cast is fine, there's just so much wasted space, and it's just a little bit too much of the same old thing. Almost as if all the characters are generic. The leads, Michael Fassbender, Danny McBride, Catherine Waterston, and Billy Crudup do well enough, I guess, but we aren't given much else otherwise, and so much of the actual story is crammed into one short period of the film for the most part, leaving the entire affair to feel just a tad generic in itself. There is nothing really about the film that stands out. Too much of the last part of the movie seems to serve a film to come, so once again another franchise falls into the trope and kills a lot of the film's momentum and ability to give us a satisfying climax. Though not bad by any means, it just feels like any other sixth film in a series, just with a huge budget, but nothing really new or inventive. It is at least better than most by this point in the life of a standard franchise, so Alien Covenant gets a very passable 7 out of 10.